What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few bits and pieces to get through today. And let's start off with Tanguy Ndombele, as the Football Insider are claiming that Tottenham have held internal discussions about terminating Tanguy Ndombele's contract at the club. He does have 2 years remaining on 200 grand a week. So what do you make out of that?
I don't think that makes any sense. Well, especially cancelling his contract before a new manager's looked at him and has a decision to make. I don't think that'd make any sense. Obviously, if a new manager comes in and says, I don't want him anywhere near the team, we can't get rid of him, maybe, but for me, it's going to cost you the money anyway, unless he agrees to take off some of the money. It's going to cost you the same amount, so you might as well keep him around, I would say, if rather than cancelling his contract.
I mean, he just seems like, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to get grips with anywhere he's gone. He had a poor loan spell at Lyon, his loan spell at Napoli now. I know they're winning the league and they're going really well, but I don't think he's done too much to impact things there. At Spurs, he hasn't looked great whatsoever. I mean, Jose Mourinho got a tune out of him for somewhat, but I mean, it's been a while now since he's played like consistent good football. I mean, a long time you're talking about, probably since his first spell at Lyon. So I don't know, man. I just want to get him gone at all costs, to be honest.
If even that means cancelling his contract.
Look, if we can't find a new club for him, he doesn't have a future at this club, that's for sure. So, I mean, what's the difference?
It depends. For me, I think depends on the new manager. They have to have, I think new manager should look at all the loan players, because I do think Reguilon, Lo Celso and Ndombele, there's players there that maybe you could use potentially. And yes, they didn't fit the system or they didn't fit the football that Conte and Mourinho wanted to play, but under a new manager, I think, in my opinion, I do think it could be different. I think it's a different kettle of fish. So, yes, the new manager might come in and decide he doesn't want any of them, and he doesn't want to use any of them, and he wants rid of all of them, and that's fair enough if he makes that decision. But I just think we need to wait. For me, I think we need to wait until a new manager comes in and has a good look at the squad and then makes the decision.
Fair enough. Let's move on and let's talk about Morgan Gibbs-White, as the Football Insider are claiming that Spurs have set their sights on a deal for Nottingham Forest forward Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, he signed there for quite big money.
About 45 million.
From Wolves in the summer. So, I mean, how much is it going to cost to get him out of there? I mean, I do rate him as a player. I think he's a good player.
He's strong. I think his physicality is a big vital thing. He's a bit like a better version of Loftus-Cheek. That's what I see of Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got a good first touch. He's got decent in terms of technical ability when it comes to striking the ball, finishing. He obviously, I don't think he's going to come here and score loads of goals. I don't think he's that kind of player. He's kind of developed himself from a number 8, which he was at Wolves, into a much more offensive player now at Forest. He regularly plays now in the front three or behind the striker. But he can play. Well. He is a creative player. He's actually, in the second half of the season, had some really good form. But I think for the money you're talking about, if he costs 45 million, I guess it depends if they go down or not. Because maybe they'll want their money back if they go down. But I still don't think... I think we can do better than... even for 45 million, I think we can do better than Gibbs-White, in my opinion.
How old is he?
He's 24. He's still fairly young. He's at a good age. But I don't know. I like him, but I don't think he's a player we should be splashing the cash on, in my opinion.
Yeah, it also plays into the English quota that we desperately need as well in this squad. I mean, if we can't get a James Maddison, would you accept a Gibbs-White in replacement to him?
No, I think we can. They're a better player. I think you're paying a very, very heavy English tax for Gibbs-White. I think there are foreign players that you probably get from other leagues for much, much cheaper who are better quality, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about James Maddison now, as Jason Burt saying that Maddison is set to be sold this summer, with Manchester United and Tottenham interested, and he'll be available for a fee understood to be between 45 and 60 million pounds. And apparently Leicester, he is leaving regardless if they stay up or go down.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think Leicester need the money as well, because they've been struggling with FFP and things like that. So I think definitely they're going to sell. He probably wants to leave as well. In terms of him going to Man United, obviously it's a big opportunity for him. Will Man United spend the 50 million on him when they have Bruno and Eriksen in the team? I mean, maybe they want the squad depth. You see teams like Man City, and they're just chock-a-block full of talent. I just has he got an immediate place in the team at someone like Man United rather than Spurs? But obviously, is a better team right now, and they're going to be in the Champions League next season, so he has to weigh that up.
He'll probably back himself though, won't he?
Probably. Would he get in the team ahead of Bruno right now? I mean, isn't Bruno now the captain after Maguire? So I don't know. I think it's going to be difficult for him to get in that team. And then they got on the wings. Anthony, they spent 100 million on. Sancho on the other wing on the left. He's not really left winger as well. Maddison. So it'll be interesting to see if they are prepared to spend big money on him. I find it hard to believe, in my opinion, that they are, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe if they feel like if it's a good deal to be had, maybe they'll pounce the chance. I think Tottenham should go all out for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that position, he should be our number one target, shouldn't he? Because for that price, 45 to 60 million, we've already spent that on Richarlison, English. So I think it just ticks all the boxes, to be honest, and he's a player that we desperately need as well.
Definitely.
So let's move on to the next one. And let's talk about a player called Kangin Lee, South Korean star. Javi Gomara, a Spanish journalist, says that Tottenham are interested in Kangin Lee from Mallorca. Maybe he's been given the seal of approval from Sonny. We both saw him at the World Cup, didn't we? And I think we were both quite impressed with what he did bring to that South Korean team. And albeit he probably had a better World Cup than Sonny.
He played really well when he came on. He didn't start every game, but when he was playing, he was really impressive. He's a different player to Son. He's a creative midfielder, more of a central midfielder, left-footed. He's got a lot of talent as well. Klinsmann was talking him up as well during the international break. So that's definitely one to look out for. He's a fairly young player as well. So
22,
so he's pretty young. So, and also you can probably get a good deal for him coming from Mallorca. So he might be cheap, but again, I mean, look, we've got all these players in the squad. Like in terms of talented players, he could be cheap, but I want to see. It all depends on the new manager, because I don't want us to spend money on him and then new managers and fancy him. Like, we need to make sure that the manager wants him first.
Yeah, it's true. He's very versatile, Kangin Lee. He's played everywhere for Mallorca this season. He's played 13 games out on the left, 4 on the right, 6 as an attacking midfielder, 3 as a second striker, and 3 as a centre forward as well. And he's played 30 games this season, getting 5 goals and 5 assists, which is not a bad return.
Pretty decent for a young player.
Exactly, for a young player. So that's that with Kangin Lee. And let's finish off with Alex Scott from Bristol. And there's some quotes from him. And he says, Alfie Devine, who I play with for England, is probably one of my closest mates. And being a Spurs fan, I remember when he scored against Marine at 16. I was watching that with my dad at home, and I was thinking, he's going to be the next best thing to come through at Spurs. And now I'm best mates with him at England level. That in itself is surreal for me. So maybe is he going to take the next step that's going to be surreal for him in joining Tottenham?
I hope so. There's been a lot of talk about Tottenham being interested in him, and obviously him being a Spurs fan, that's added fuel to the fire.
And best mates with
and that's even added more fuel to the fire. But so I think he is going to cost a fair bit for a player his age coming from Bristol. They're talking about 15, 20 million. So it would be a fairly considerable outlay for a player who might, who still has to fully develop. 18, is he going to be a first team player next season? Is he going to need some loan moves? We've seen how it's gone with Spence. He's come in, hasn't got a look in. He's going to have to go out on loan. He's a bit older than Scott. So, and obviously, is Bristol their Championship or League One? Championship. Okay, so he's been doing. I mean, I saw them in the FA Cup, and he looked pretty good in that game. So, I think I would like it. I like to look at the future and look at future players like that who are gonna be ones that maybe could develop into someone special, and we need more of those players. So I'm all for it. I don't know if Tottenham are going to pull the trigger there on that kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it remains to be seen, but these are the kind of deals Spurs do like sometimes, don't they? We like bringing in top talent from the Championship, so I can see this one being a goer, to be honest. But again, well, not really again, because these kind of players, it doesn't really matter who our manager is, because we're buying them for future development as well. So I think this one could happen regardless, whoever our manager is.
Maybe it's a case of buying him and sending him straight out back out on loan to Bristol. Yeah, I've done that before.
Or even a lower Premier League club.
Or even a Premier League club. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. But help his development. I'm all for it. Why not?
Yeah. All right, well, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,